For the next few minutes, I want to talk about you. I want you to just think about you for a moment. I want you to think about your life. I want you to think about how you're living versus how you'd really like to live. Pay close attention to what we're doing, and you're going to find out that you can actually create your own economy. Now, I learned that many years ago when a man told me, he said, Bob, if you'll read this book and do exactly what I tell you, you can have anything you want. Now, I did not believe that. But after talking to him for a while, I believed he believed. I was happy, he was healthy, he was wealthy. I was unhappy, I was sick, and I was broke. I had no formal education, I had no business experience. He said, that doesn't matter, Bob. What's happened in the past is the past. What happens in the future is based on the decisions you make. Now, I said, I know how to earn money. I know how to be happy, and I know how to stay healthy. If you'll do exactly what I tell you, your life will change. Well, you know, it did. Over the next year, I multiplied my income. In fact, my life changed so much, I made a decision on one thing. From that point on, I would always have a mentor. I would have some kind of a coach, and I would pick someone that knows how to do what I want to do. And then I'd do exactly what they told me. And that's what I've done. And I've been doing that now for over half a century. I sat down and took a pen out one day and said, I'm going to build a company that operates all over the world. You know, right now I'm broadcasting all over the world. Growth is a normal part of life. If something's not growing, it's dying. Now, if we're going to grow, there's one thing we're going to have to do. We're going to have to change. We cannot stay where we are and get better results. It just doesn't work. Now, this man said to me, Bob, you change your paradigm and you'll change your life. I didn't even know what paradigm was. I certainly didn't know how to spell it, didn't understand it. He said, let me show you what a paradigm is. He said, you told me that you wanted to earn more money. That's all I wanted. I figured if I had enough money, my problems would go away. See, I was earning a little bit and I owed a lot. I owed everybody money. And I couldn't seem to get out of debt. I just couldn't seem to do it. I'd pay one bill and another one would pop up. Well, I said, let me tell you something. There's two things that you must know if you're going to create wealth. They're not difficult. Anybody can learn them. You have to know where you are. You have to know where you're going. And then you've got to get moving in that direction. Now, this is so simple and so obvious that when you start studying this, you're going to ask yourself, why are so many people stuck? And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people are stuck. Most people get the same result this year as they got last year. Well, it may have fluctuated a little bit, but not very much. So the obvious answer is then, well, people mustn't have goals. I don't think that's where the problem is. The problem's over here in understanding where we are. And most people really don't understand where they are. Well, they know where they are physical. You know, I'm standing in the middle of a field and a farm and so. I'm walking down a main street and Fifth Avenue in New York. They know where they are physically, but mentally they don't know where they are. They don't know why they keep getting the same results over and over and over. They keep the same reoccurring problem. Well, he said, I'm going to tell you why. He says, because of paradigms. Because of paradigms. Well, let's take a look. What is a paradigm? A paradigm is a mental program that has almost, I say almost, exclusive control over our habitual behavior. Now think of this for a moment. Almost all of our behavior is habitual. So what we're really saying is that paradigms are controlling our life. We're not controlling our life at all. Now consider this. People go to school, they gather all kinds of information, and they have degrees, and right off the end of their business cards. So they're not lacking in the smarts department, in the intellect department. They've got the knowledge. They're not using it. Why do so many people graduate from university deep in debt from going to university and they can't find work? How could you have all that knowledge and not find work? How could you have all that knowledge and be broke? Well, I'm telling you why. It's because of paradigm. Now, this is an interesting subject. This is a black and white matter. There's no gray matter here. It doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how many hours you put in. If the paradigm does not change, ultimately the results will remain much the same from one year to the next. And that's really what happens to most people. If you only remember one thing I'm saying, I want you to burn this into your mind. When paradigms stay in control, nothing changes. Now, you can try as hard as you want to change some area in your life. If the paradigm remains in control, you're toast. It just will not work. So we got to ask ourselves some questions. How do we control the flow? Well, we've got the ability to choose. We've got phenomenal mental faculties. Way back many years ago, I was trying to figure out, what do wealthy people do that's so different? I've met wealthy people that were absolutely brilliant, and you could understand why they're wealthy. But I've met other people who aren't very bright at all, and they're also wealthy. Wealthy people, almost without exception. I say almost because I don't know for certain if everybody does, but I'm inclined to think they do. They have multiple sources. They don't have one source of income. They have many sources of income. There's only two known ways to change a paradigm. Just two. Now, the first way is the constant spaced repetition of ideas that are essentially the opposite of the paradigm. Now, the other way, it doesn't happen very often. That's the personal experience of an emotional impact. I'll give you an example. 9/11 in New York, the buildings coming down, that was an emotional impact. Not for me, probably not for you. It was a terrible thing that everybody would agree was an absolute catastrophe. It was a paradigm shift for the people that were involved in that area. When that happened, their lives changed. The family of people that were killed there, paradigm shift. That doesn't happen often. Why repetition is necessary when changing paradigms. That's why almost all welfare recipients are third, fourth, fifth generation welfare recipients. That's all they heard when they were a kid. They were programmed with it at a very early age by the people around them. That's why we learn the language we learn. Can you imagine where you'd be if I said, "Hi, my name's Bob. What's yours?" You wouldn't know your name if your mother or dad just told you once. They tell you over and over and over and over. All you have to do is make a decision. I want you to make a decision right now. Buckminster Fuller, the man that built the geodesic dome, he said something interesting. He said, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change things, you build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. Now, you've probably been struggling with the results trying to change them. Fuller said, you don't do that. You don't change the existing reality. It's the way it is. It just is that way, and it doesn't have to stay. You change something by building a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. Decide what kind of a life you actually want. Then say no to everything that isn't that. Now look here. Wants are where it starts. You know where wants come from? I'm going to tell you. You have, at the center of your being, your spiritual DNA is perfect. There's perfection within us. Now that perfection has so much junk on top of it, what we call a paradigm, that it has difficulty expressing itself. That spiritual perfection within us is always seeking expression with and through us. That's why we always want more. Now, when I was a little kid, my grandmother said, you always want more. You should be satisfied with what you've got. Grandma was an angel of God, but she was wrong. Dissatisfaction is a creative state. It's dissatisfaction that causes you to reach, to stretch. What do you really want? What do you really want? That comes from the essence of who you are. Now that's not to get. Getting is nice too. That gives you greater physical comfort. You can have all the good you desire. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier this morning. He said something just about blew my mind. I loved it. He was saying it's his girlfriend's birthday this week. No girlfriend can have a week's birthday. But he said, we're celebrating it all week. We're having a birthday lifestyle. He said, we've already got a birthday lifestyle. I love that. That's what you want. You want to have a birthday lifestyle. Everyday celebration. What do you want? The want is not to get. That's a side benefit. The want is to grow. It's for you to bring more of you to the surface. You're God's highest form of creation. The want turn into desire. Desire comes from Latin deicere, to give birth to the children, to give birth to the idea. Desire is the effort of the unexpressed possibility within, seeking expression without it through your action. So think about this for a few minutes. Money is one of the easiest things to earn once you understand the rules, but it must be earned. Do you know you've got people that never want to go, like myself, who earn millions of dollars. You'll have other people that have got degrees coming right off the end of a business card who are struggling to get by. It doesn't make sense to us the way we've been educated, but it makes all kinds of sense when you understand how money's earned and who's got it and why they've got it. See, the earning of money has been around, how to earn it, for a long time. You go right back and study back into the ancient Babylonians. They knew how to earn money. And if you study how the money's earned, you'll realize that you can earn it and you can earn as much as you want. In fact, you decide, you sit down and you write out what it is you want to earn. Then we take a look at our personal life, our social life, the people we associate with. We're associating with people that are very much like ourselves because we're in harmony with them. Everything operates on frequencies, just like your cell phone operates on a frequency. You got to change the frequency you're operating on. You see, we can only attract to us what's in harmony with us. You see, I was following the rules that I was taught to follow. Ray Stanford said, if you do exactly what I tell you, I'll show you how you can have anything you want. I really didn't believe that. But he said something, he said, my way's working, yours isn't. Why don't you try mine? The guy had all kinds of money, he was very happy. I don't know why, I decided I was going to do what he taught me. And it started happening, and like that, I started earning a lot of money. I started building my own company. I had offices in Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Cleveland, Atlanta, London, England. I was earning over $1 million a year, and I was just a young guy. And I was in England one day, and I was just throwing the money all over the place. I didn't care about it because I knew where to get it. And one day, something caused me to stop and think, this isn't very bright. I'm not being very responsible. So then I started to think, why am I so successful? Because I was very successful as a young guy. And I couldn't answer the question. And so I thought, I'm not lucky. I didn't believe that. I had been raised to believe if you're going to earn a lot of money, you're going to be really lucky. Well, I was earning a lot of money, but I wasn't really lucky. I was also earning, if you're going to earn a lot of money, you got to be really smart. I didn't know I wasn't that smart, but I was earning a lot of money. I was raised to believe if you don't go to school, you'll never have a good job. I not only had a good job, I owned the whole company. Now that caused a lot of confusion in my mind. And I thought, how did this all happen? And I could not give you an answer. Here I was winning in a pretty big way, and I had absolutely no idea why. So I made up my mind I was going to figure out why. I was going to find out why I was winning. And I started to study. And I've never stopped studying. And I did find out why. And when I found out, all I wanted to do was teach it to other people. And that's all I've been doing. I have had half a dozen absolutely phenomenal mentors. Just incredible coaches. And I'll tell you what I've found. Success is 5% strategy, it's 95% mindset. Think what I said. Success is 5% strategy, 95% mindset. Most people spend 95% of their time on strategy, 5%, if any at all, on mindset. It's about the mind. I sat down with a pen. Back in 1973, I was sitting in a little room, a den, in a house on Maplewood Lane in Glenview, Illinois. And I wrote down that I was going to build a company that operates all over the world. Do you know now the Procter & Gamble Institute operates in 88 countries? If you're really tired of living the way you're living, if you really want to take control over your life, it's the only one you got. And get this, when the sand's gone, baby, it's gone. And what's happened doesn't make any difference. I don't care what you've done in the past, none of that matters. It's in the past. The image we hold of ourselves dictates the amount of money we earn, the relationships we have. It controls everything. You know, I often mention, when you understand how magic works, it's not magic. But when you understand how your life lives, it's real magic. This is about process.